Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Activism Uncensored. There's been some disturbing news come out today that everybody should be very concerned about. The UK government has approved the Rosebank Oil Field. This is set to be the biggest untapped oil field in the UK, as this article from the BBC shows. We're going to be talking about this in depth on our live stream tonight at 8 o'clock. We hope you can join us then, but I'm just going to go over a few finer points here. Just want to start off with the reaction from Claire Coutinho, who's the Energy Security Secretary, and the excuses that the Conservative Party are putting out to try and back up these kind of policies really is ridiculous. And just before I point out what Claire Coutinho said, it's also worth noting that Labour have stated they would not overturn this policy should they win the general election, likely to be sometime next year. So no support really coming from the major parties. Let's see what Claire's got to say though. This makes us more secure against Putin. Pure waffle. This quote here: it makes sense to use our own supplies from North Sea fields such as Rosebank. And then she adds, the jobs and billions of pounds that this is worth to our economy will enable us to have a greater energy independence, making us more secure against tyrants like Russian President Vladimir Putin, Coutinho said. Well, the first thing is, Claire, this is an oil field, and it was natural gas that we were getting from Putin before the war started, and it was the vast amount of 4% of the UK's gas, just 4% of the UK's gas was coming from the Russian Federation. So all of this jumping on the Putin bandwagon as an excuse for these heavily advised against policies. How many times have we had to point out the advice from the UN on this show that investment in new fossil fuels is moral and economic madness? These aren't our words, these are UN Director General's words. This is the advice of the I.P.C.C, all of the top world scientific experts. Don't just take it from us. So just quickly hear from what Sunak's had to say as well. It says here he insists the UK will need oil and gas in its transition to renewables. And the oil field development 80 miles west of Shetland is, quote, the right long-term decision for the UK's energy security. Now, it takes decades, as we know, for these sort of things to get set up and to go online and start to produce energy. This probably isn't going to be pumping anything out until the 2040s. It's not going to solve the energy problems of today. They're doing nowhere near enough on renewables, even though renewable use has increased. In tandem, they've been pouring out these new oil, coal and gas licenses. So any positive work that they do in terms of renewables is just undone by the perpetuation of these contracts, and we all know how beholden they are to the fossil fuel companies. So that was an announcement this morning. Like I said, we're going to be talking a lot more about that in our live stream. That's at 8 o'clock tonight. Really hope that you can be there and join us. Please do get involved with the live chat if you come along and join us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this story and the other topics that we're going to be going through. So until then, I'll wish you all a very good afternoon and see you tonight.